Okay, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you all for being here for tonight's meeting of the Town Board of the Town of Carmel. As always, before we get started, we're going to have the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. And Councilman Shano, would you lead us tonight, please? Everybody, please rise.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Take a moment of silence to remember our servicemen and women who are fighting for our freedom and who are serving away from their families overseas. Thank you.
Thanks, Bob. Okay, once again, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for attending tonight's Town Board meeting, and thank you all at home for watching. Tonight is a Town Board voting meeting, and the date is Wednesday, May 5th, 2021. And prior to the Town Board coming out here this evening for the public portion of the meeting, the board met at 6:15 p.m. in executive session with Councilman Lombardi and Councilman Shano to discuss the IBTA contract negotiations. So for the record, all Town Board members are present this evening, as is our Town Clerk, Ann Spofford. Ann, thanks for being here tonight. And our Town Council, Greg Fulchetti, is all the way over to my left. So once again, tonight's meeting is a Town Board voting meeting. The first item is to accept the Town Board minutes of April 7th, 2021. Can I get a motion to accept those?
So moved.
So moved by Councilman Lombardi, seconded by Councilwoman McDonough and Councilman Shano. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, resolution number 1 this evening is a resolution authorizing Chief of Police to proceed with the purchase and installation of digital license plate readers. Councilman Shano, would you read 1, please?
Resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Carmel hereby authorizes Chief of Police Anthony Hoffman to proceed with the purchase and installation of 2 new fixed license plate readers units known as LPR and 1 mobile license plate reader LPR for a patrol vehicle from Digital Surveillance Systems Incorporated, Buffalo, New York, at a total cost not to exceed $39,716.47 under New York State Contract PT 68787, and be it further resolved that the Town Supervisor Kenneth Schmidt is hereby authorized to sign all necessary documents to purchase said equipment from the vendor set forth herein in accordance with the bid/contract quotation dated April 1st, 2021, and be it further resolved that Town Controller Mary Ann Maxwell is hereby authorized to make any and all necessary budget revisions to effect the aforesaid purchase transaction authorized herein. I offer this resolution as read.
Second.
Okay, seconded by Councilwoman McDonough. Roll call vote.
Councilman Shano?
Yes.
Councilman Borelli?
Yes.
Councilman Lombardi?
Aye.
Councilwoman McDonough?
Yes.
Supervisor Schmidt?
Yes, motion carried. And before we continue, I just got a message that there's a problem with the video. The streaming is not working. Dominic, if you can hear me, somebody just notified me that the live streaming is not working. So if you could correct that.
I'll check it.
Okay, thank you. Okay, next resolution number 2 is a resolution acknowledging emergency payment for repairs and services for Carmel Water District number 14. Councilwoman McDonough, would you read 2, please?
Sure. Resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Carmel, acting as commissioners of the various water and sewer districts of the Town of Carmel, hereby acknowledges the emergency performance of water and sewer district collection system, distribution system, and treatment facility repairs. All is fully detailed in the memoranda of Town Engineer Richard J. Franzetti, P.E., to the Town Board dated April 14th, 2021, as attached here too and made a part hereof. I offer this resolution as read.
Second.
Offered by Councilwoman McDonough, seconded by Councilman Lombardi. Roll call vote.
Councilman Shano?
Yes.
Councilman Borelli?
Yes.
Councilman Lombardi?
Aye.
Councilwoman McDonough?
Yes.
Supervisor Schmidt?
Yes, motion carried. Thank you. Okay, next resolution number 3 is a resolution authorizing additions and deletions of the Mahopac Volunteer Fire Department. Councilman Borelli, would you read 3?
Resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Carmel hereby authorizes the addition of the following names to the active list of the Mahopac Volunteer Fire Department: Brian Witten and Kira M. Sullivan. And be it further resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Carmel hereby authorizes the deletion of the following names to the active list of the Mahopac Volunteer Fire Department: Kurt Beeger, Janine Angelo, Michael Padilla, Nithya Thomas, Samantha Brown, William Frack III, Maxwell Senger, Kellyanne Camerata, and Joseph Bellato. Be it further resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Carmel hereby authorizes the modification of the status of the following individuals from active to exempt as members of the Mahopac Volunteer Fire Department: Lucas Peterson, Christopher Pfaffenberger. I offer this resolution as read.
Second.
Okay, offered by Councilman Borelli, seconded by Councilman Lombardi. Roll call vote.
Councilman Shannon.
Yes.
Councilman Borelli.
Yes.
Councilman Lombardi.
Aye.
Councilwoman McDonough.
Yes.
Supervisor Schmidt.
Yes, motion carried. I'd like to thank and congratulate the two new volunteer firemen, Mr. Witten and Kira Sullivan, for joining the Mahopac Volunteer Fire Department to protect and serve your community. It's great that you're doing that. Thank you. And I'd also like to thank those members of the fire department who have been removed from the active list of members. Two had sadly passed away, Mr. Beeger and Ms. Janine Angelo, and the others have decided to move on, and they left the fire department. But I'd like to thank them for their service to the community while they were active members, and also Lucas Peterson and Mr. Pfaffenberger for their active role in the fire department, and they've gone exempt, so they will no longer be providing fire and EMS services to the community. So thank you all. Okay, next resolution, number 4, is a resolution authorizing mailing of the Lake Secor Park District newsletter. Councilman Lombardi, would you read 4?
Resolved the Town Board of Town of Carmel, acting as commissioners of the Lake Secor Park District, hereby authorizes the mailing of the Spring 2021 newsletter as prepared by the Lake Secor Park District Committee to all properties within the district, and further directs that all costs thereto be charged as a district expense. I offer the resolution as read.
Second.
Okay, offered by Councilman Lombardi, seconded by Councilwoman McDonough. Roll call vote.
Councilman Shannon.
Yes.
Councilman Borelli.
Yes.
Councilman Lombardi.
Aye.
Councilwoman McDonough.
Yes.
Supervisor Schmidt.
Yes, motion carried. And the cost of this will be paid for by the residents of the Lake Secor Park District. Okay, next resolution, number 5, is a resolution setting rates for the 2021 seasonal employees for the Lake Secor Park District. Councilman Shannon, would you read 5, please?
Resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Carmel, acting as the Commissioners of Lake Secor Park District, hereby sets the following rates for lifeguards in 2021. Position of lifeguard will be $13 to $17 an hour, and head lifeguard will be $20 an hour. I offer this resolution as read.
Second.
Okay, offered by Councilman Shannon, seconded by Councilwoman McDonough. Roll call vote.
Councilman Shannon.
Yes.
Councilman Borelli.
Yes.
Councilman Lombardi.
Aye.
Councilwoman McDonough.
Yes.
Supervisor Schmidt.
Yes, motion carried. Thank you. Okay, next resolution, number 6, is a resolution making appointments to the Lake Secor Park District Advisory Board. Councilwoman McDonough, would you read 6?
Sure. Resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Carmel, acting as commissioners of the Lake Secor Park District, hereby appoints Raymond Secor, the Town of Carmel Lake Secor Park District Advisory Board, effectively immediately. I offer this resolution as read. I hope I pronounce his name right.
Yeah, you did.
Okay.
Yeah, Sokar.
Second.
Second it? Okay, offered by Councilwoman McDonough, seconded by Councilman Shannon. Roll call vote.
Councilman Shannon.
Yes.
Councilman Borelli.
Yes.
Councilman Lombardi.
Aye.
Councilwoman McDonough.
Yes.
Supervisor Schmidt.
Yes, motion carried. Thank you. Okay, next resolution, number 7, is an amended resolution authorizing a refund of a building permit fee. Councilman Borelli, would you read 7?
Resolved that upon the recommendation of Town of Carmel Director of Codes Enforcement, Michael Carnazza, the Town Board of the Town of Carmel hereby authorizes the refund of the fee paid for permit application previously paid for 20-1311 by United Pump and Tank, Inc., Wallkill, New York, in the amount of $660. We offer this resolution as read.
Second.
Okay, offered by Councilman Borelli, seconded by Councilman Lombardi. Roll call vote.
Councilman Shannon.
Yes.
Councilman Borelli.
Yes.
Councilman Lombardi.
Aye.
Councilwoman McDonough.
Yes.
Supervisor Schmidt.
Yes, motion carried. Thank you. Okay, next resolution, number 8, is a resolution accepting a proposal and authorizing entry into an agreement for engineering, consulting, and design services for Carmel Sewer District Number 1. Councilman Lombardi, would you read 8, please?
Sure. Resolved that the Town Board of Town of Carmel, acting as commissioners of Carmel Sewer District Number 1, hereby authorizes entry into a contract with J. Robert Fulchetti Associates, LLC, Brewster, New York, for services to be rendered in negotiations with the City of New York, City of New York Department of Environmental Protection for the proposed Carmel Sewer District Number 1 wastewater treatment plant acquisition and expansion, which commenced in June 2017, as well as wastewater treatment plant and collection system design and construction administration services rendered subsequent to such acquisition. Said contract to be in form as attached hereto and made part hereof. And be it further resolved that the parties agree that all payments due and owing to J. Robert Falchetti LLC, J. Robert Falchetti Associates LLC, shall be made on a pass-through basis on when received and collected by the town of Carmel. The parties agree that the town of Carmel should not be responsible for making any direct payments to JFRA or other than those contained in the subsequent agreements between New York City DEP and the town of Carmel. And be it further resolved, the town supervisor, Ken Schmidt, is hereby authorized to accept said proposal and to execute the reference contract and any other documentation necessary to effectuate the authorization contained herein. I offer this amended resolution as read.
Second.
Okay, seconded by Councilman Borelli and Councilwoman McDonough. Roll call vote.
Councilman Shannon?
On this one, I'm going to vote no. I was very excited to see that we're going to have our own wastewater treatment facility. I think John Falchetti is an outstanding engineer, but I would like to follow our procurement policy on this. I think it should have went off to RFP, or if we were going to use professional services, I think that he should have been paid for his time negotiating a contract or negotiating the takeover from New York City. So I'm a no on this.
Councilman Borelli?
No.
Councilman Lombardi?
Aye.
Councilwoman McDonough?
Yes.
Supervisor Schmidt?
Yes. Motion carried. This is just for the benefit of the public. This is a zero-sum cost to the town of Carmel. So there is no, the New York City DEP will be paying for all costs associated with the contract. That's why it was written the way it was, the resolution, and that's why I'm okay with voting yes on it, because the residents won't be paying for this, the taxpayers won't be, but New York City will be, and the town of Carmel will benefit by that. So yes, motion carried. So there's three yes and 2 no's.
And I hope I can say it, Greg, but this is the very first step to a long process of finally getting a sewer and water down Route 6 corridor, which people have been asking for the last, I don't know, 20, 30, 100 years. So it's the first step, and it's a specialized area that we need sewer and water down, and we need to get this done. People have been asking for it for years, and especially with the pandemic that's happened, a lot of those businesses have suffered this past year, and this would go a very long way, although it's a few years down the road, to bringing some good development and good business to the Route 6 corridor.
Okay. And I just want to mention that negotiations with the city began in June of 2017, and they've been ongoing up until the point where the pandemic hit the area and everything stopped because everything was shut down, and negotiations at that point were not ongoing. So we picked those negotiations up several months ago with the city, and I'm pleased to report that we are very close to having an agreement in principle with New York City for the takeover of the New York City wastewater treatment plant, which is right across the street from the town hall, which Frank said this has been requested and talked about for many years from the business owners along that corridor, is will we ever sewer it? Will our properties ever have access to a sewer? Well, I can tell you that this process is moving forward, and tonight was a huge step in making that happen, because JRFA, John Falchetti, was a big part and continues to be a very big part of the negotiations with New York City, and I firmly believe that we're at with the city because of John Falchetti's efforts and because of the efforts of the town negotiating with the city. So we're very close, and we need to keep moving forward with that project. Anybody else have anything else to say? Susie?
Nope.
No? Okay. All right, so the next resolution is resolution number 9. It's a resolution authorizing submission of a grant application, Hudson Valley Greenway Planning Grant Program. Councilman Shano, would you read 9, please?
Whereas the town of Carmel intends to apply for a grant under the Hudson River Valley Greenway Grant Program for the project currently entitled Swan Cove Waterfront Revitalization Planning Project to be located within the town of Carmel. Now therefore be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Carmel hereby authorizes and approves the submission of an application for a grant under the Hudson River Valley Greenway Grant Program for the project currently entitled Swan Cove Waterfront Revitalization Planning Project. Said application to be in form as attached hereto and made a part thereof. And be it further resolved that the Town Supervisor Kenneth Schmidt is hereby authorized to execute said grant application in accordance with the provisions thereof. I offer this resolution as read.
Second?
Okay, offered by Councilman Shannon, seconded by Councilwoman McDonough. Roll call vote.
Councilman Shannon?
Yes.
Councilman Borelli?
Yes.
Councilman Lombardi?
Aye.
Councilwoman McDonough?
Yes.
Supervisor Schmidt?
Yes, motion carried. And this is for a $25,000 grant to be used for improvements at the Swan Cove, the future Swan Cove site. So,
I just want to also thank the town board for getting this, and thank Greg Volchetti for getting this on tonight's agenda. We worked pretty hard with our grant writer and Jim Gilchrist, and we'd like to thank him, too, for the hard work he put into it.
okay,
Perfect.
all right. All right, thank you, Bob.
You're welcome.
Okay, so before we go on to the agenda items, for any comments on those, we have a group with us from the Hamlet of Carmel and from Kent, town of Kent, and they're here to discuss the Hometown Heroes Flag Program. So who's going to be speaking on behalf of you? Gail? Okay, we have Gail Selke here.
Yep.
Richie
And
Othmer
Yep.
is from the town of Kent. Jamie McGlasson from the town of Kent.
And Maria Barry.
And Maria?
Maria Barry.
Maria Barry? Okay,
And-
guys,
yeah,
thanks for
and-
being here.
Yeah, and Lynn Mongan is also on the committee. She couldn't be here
Dan, I would
tonight.
have never thought you would be the spokesperson for
Yeah.
Councilwoman McGlasson, yes. Councilwoman McGlasson is here too. Jamie? All right,
So Richie, stand right here kind of in front of me, because then they can get it. Yeah, right, Kenny?
Yeah,
And they can
yeah.
get the banner.
Hello, I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Gail Driscoll Silk. I'm a resident of Carmel. This is my brother Stephen
Gail,
Patrick.
could you pull that mic a little closer to you? Perfect,
You're
thank you.
looking that way, but you have to speak into that for the people at home to hear
Okay,
you.
I didn't want to have my back to you, I'm sorry. So this is my brother Stephen Patrick Driscoll. He served in the Navy when he was 18. Then he came home, and all he wanted to do was become a police officer. Well, he joined the New York City Police in 1992, and we all know 9/11 happened, and my brother gave his life saving others on 9/11. With the 20th anniversary coming up this September 11th, I wanted to do something positive in our town. I'm up here 25 years, Putnam County. Stephen's birthday was July 4th. He'll be 57 this July 4th. And I wanted to do, between the pandemic and everything that happened last year, I wanted to line the streets with the veterans that have made it possible for our freedoms. So what I did is I grabbed my best friend Maria. And Maria's, she'll have a little chat with you. But then I was told I had to speak to the county and so on and so forth. So we formed a committee. And thank God we have a great county because we have two councilwomen, Susie and Jamie from Kent are on our council to do the flags. Richie Othmeyer from Kent Highway. We have Mike McDonough from Carmel Highway. They'll be erecting the flags. Our flags, the vendor, if you died in any of the Gulf Wars, you get a free flag. If you are a new enlistee, you get a free flag. The part of our portion is going to make a donation back to the vets. They also, they're double-sided. And so far, they've been well received. We have 40 orders between Kent and Carmel. So we're just going to line 52. We're going to go crazy. Patterson has already asked to join forces with us. There's a little talk about Brewster joining forces, but as you could see, they're lovely. So I just wanted to present it to you and say a prayer and keep our vets and, you know, our thoughts and prayers. But let me introduce you to Maria.
Hi, everybody. Thank you for having us to present this great program.
Move a little closer. Okay.
Just honored to be part of this committee. It's going to be a grand project. I don't know if anybody's been up to like Fishkill, Hopewell area. They've done a terrific job up there. Ours is going to be even better between Carmel and Kent. So we have postcards, we've been advertising, we're in the newspaper. It makes a great gift for somebody, for a family member, a father, a grandfather, a brother, a daughter, anybody. So we'd like everybody to participate and make our streets beautiful and recognize all our veterans that have given their lives and the veterans, people that are still fighting out there for all our freedoms. If you have any questions on the postcards or any information, there's an email. We try and handle all the emails within 24 hours. If you need help creating the flag, if you're not very good on the computer, we can come out and meet with you, get that processed for you. Any help you need, we're here to facilitate that for you. Any suggestions? We've had some families that have started to order 3 and 4 flags. So the way, just in case anybody has any questions, it's $200 for a flag. That includes everything, as well as a donation to certain veteran organizations towards the end of the project. We're also, if a family comes to us and can't afford to maybe do a flag for a son or a daughter or a family member, we will provide that to them free of cost. So we hope you can get everybody to participate. Word of mouth is the best. Share it on Facebook, newspaper, let people know. We'll leave postcards in the front, and thank you for your time. I don't know if anybody has any questions or anything. Oh, okay. So we're gonna try and get as many up as we can from Memorial Day till like Veterans Day in November, and that's weather dependent, and then they'll go up every year around then. If the weather's going to be good, maybe we'll leave, maybe they'll stay up depending. They're very high quality, and that's it. I don't know if Jamie'd like to say anything. Rich?
No, I just wanted, Mike Smarty and I are working together with the Kent Highway Department.
Rich, the microphone,
Oh, I was told I talked too loud anyway. Yeah, Mike Smarty and I and the Kent and Carmel Highway Department are going to be working together getting these up. And I think the goal is to have these connect from Hopac through Carmel into Kent, and I think it's going to branch off into Brewster.
Hopac Falls.
Yeah, so it'd be good if it went from the Dutchess County to the Westchester County border, and it's getting a good response, and these 3 individuals are doing a great job. And Councilwoman Jamie McGlass is working with me in Kent on it, and Gail and Maria, and Susie, of course, Susie.
And Lynn.
And Lynn, I forgot about. They're still little kids to me. They're still little kids to me. So, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, thank you. Thank you, guys. Thanks.
And Kenny, I just wanted to add one thing. If anyone wanted a flag to be raised in Mahopac Falls, Mahopac, you can call Tim Conlon from TC Graphics here. You can either go on the website, ourhometownheroes.us, or you can give him a call at 845-621-9296. So like Richie said, it's going to be great going from like Baldwin Place all the way up. So, thank our veterans. God bless them, and my heart goes for them.
See a Marine Corps officer over there in the corner.
Yes.
His brother won the flag.
Ah. Yeah. But thank you for coming tonight for this very
Yeah.
important project.
Thanks for being here, guys.
Thank you.
Yep.
Yeah, you
Appreciate
guys
it.
can go enjoy Cinco
Yeah.
de Mayo now if you'd like.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. So the boundary line, just so everybody knows, for the flags are 6 in Drewville Road, where Shaft 10 is, where the causeway is. West Branch is on your left. So from there up into the Hamlet of Carmel, you would be contacting Gail's group and Richie and Jamie. So from Shaft 10 down to the county line at Route 6 and 118, that would be Tim Conlon, who would be handling those banners. So for the Hamlet of Carmel, from 6 in Drewville north, and from 6 in Drewville south or west on 6 would be Tim Conlon.
So
we
share each other's contact information
Right.
as well.
So you basically divided the town up as far as who's going to be handling the, coordinating the banners. So thank you so much for that. Appreciate it. All right, guys.
Good night.
Yep, have a good night. Okay, is there anybody here for public comment on the agenda items that we handled tonight, agenda items 1 through 9? If there is anyone, come on up at this time. Just state your name For the record,
For the record, my name is John Butler from the Hamlet of Carmel. It's on the record, right? So up until about 5:30 this afternoon, and this is in regard to item number 8, until 5 o'clock this afternoon, I didn't even know this existed. I didn't know the contract existed. I didn't know the item on the agenda. I was just checking it out because I have something else to talk about on the other comments section. So I'm just looking at it, and I actually printed this agreement out because I wanted to make sure that, I wasn't like losing my mind as I was reading it. So I just wanted to kind of summarize it to make sure I'm understanding this correctly. So number one, we have a no bid contract. I don't know why that is. Number two, the contract is awarded to a vendor who's negotiating with the city, and the city, the terms of ultimately the payments that are going to be made by the city to the vendor who's negotiating the contract. So he's actually negotiating the contract for himself or itself, the vendor. I find that incredible. I don't think I've ever seen such a thing before. This is an agreement and basically a contract that has no value to it. Why? Because the vendor to whom you've given the business is in the process of negotiating the contract. So there's no value associated. I don't know what it's worth. Who knows what it's worth? So again, the vendor we've given the business to is in the process of negotiating their own contract. And I get the pass-through, but it doesn't make any difference because this just isn't the way things are done. You just can't do this. Again, and I'm not even asking for an answer because it's fait accompli. It's already been passed. Why is this no bid? What's the rationale behind no bid? I mean, we spent a lot of time with procurement policies, revising them, putting them into effect, and then when the time comes when a procurement policy should be utilized, it's waived. What are we talking about? What's going on? And then I just want to mention something as far as there's no cost to the town. In terms of cash, there is no cost to the town. But there is a liability, and there's a financial exposure to the town. And that comes in under Section 3, which I read 500 times to make sure I understand what I'm reading. I think I've said it before. I'm an insurance broker. This is what I know. So the town, you guys have agreed that the town will hold JRFA, the vendor, harmless from any and all judgments, losses, costs, and expenses, including attorney fees, incurred by reasons of the action or omission of JRFA or agents, servants, and employees in connection with JRFA's provision of services under this agreement, except for intentional negligence. Then the next and final sentence is the one that I get a real kick out of. Nonetheless, JRFA agrees to maintain professional malpractice insurance at all times during this agreement for a limit of $2 million. Okay? So if there's an error, and I know nothing ever goes wrong anywhere in the world, if there is a professional engineering, any sort of professional liability error, and it causes a claim, a lawsuit, damages coming from anywhere, any third party, a resident, the city of New York, the DEP, the DEC, the EPA, it's a wastewater treatment facility, okay? There's environmental exposures that by definition go with that. Guess what? If any of that happens and there's damages levied, the town, the residents pay without recourse. I have never experienced where a professional of any sort is held harmless, and because the caption says indemnification, means indemnified for acts of negligence that they commit in the performance of their contractual obligations, we're on the hook. So it ain't free to the town. If anything does occur, we're going to pay. The insurance is a red herring. It means nothing because professional liability insurance policies are triggered by the insured having a legal liability associated with an occurrence. Well, they'll never have a legal liability. You've let them off the hook. You're holding them harmless, indemnifying. His insurance company says, this is the greatest thing I've ever seen. We're collecting premium. We have no exposure to claims. And just so you know, this, intentional acts. So, it was an intentional act, which is absurd. It would never be. It's stupid. But just for the record, intentional acts that cause losses and claims are never covered by insurance. They're excluded, okay? So even under those circumstances, there would be no insurance. And finally, I don't know anything about the town's insurance, but if, something happens, town's got to pay, we'll put in an insurance claim. You've created a contractual liability. The acts of a third party that as an act of negligence that causes damages to the town, okay? Yeah, that's covered unless you've indemnified them under a contract, in which case there's no coverage. That's excluded as well. So, end of the day, all done and through. I want in on this action. I'm going to copy this. I'm just going to fill in my name the next time I got a client meeting and see if they go for it, because this is impossible. I got to be honest with you. I'm a business person. I've been around for a couple of years, just got out of training, but I can't even believe this. I just can't believe it. And I think the public owes it just one explanation as to why this is no bid. Why it's no bid. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Thank you. Okay. Anybody else have any other questions on the agenda items only, please? Come on up at this time.
Good evening. I'm James Carmody from the Hamlet of Carmel, and I'd like to echo my neighbor's concern about the no-bid negotiation happening and the award of this contract. It would be very wise to have competitive bidding in our contract awards, and I don't think it's going to result in a good outcome for our taxpayers if we can't have a choice in the matter of who's going to do the work. I want to hear if you have an answer as to why there was no bid put out. Would you be so kind as to give that?
So this is not a biddable item. This is professional services, so it would be an RFP, request for proposals for professional services. So there's no bid associated with this. Am I correct, Greg? Right. So it's an RFP, but understand where you're coming from, all right? Because this is a very unique situation that we have here with this. The engineering firm and the engineer who's been involved in negotiations with the city of New York, he's done a plant like this, similar to this in the village of Brewster, that he negotiated with New York City for that project, and that project was done by him and his firm, and it was a very successful project. So he's got unique skills and abilities and knowledge with respect to wastewater treatment plants. So that's why Mr. Falchetti was involved in negotiation with the city for this particular plant, because he's done this in the past, and we recognize that this has been done in the past by Mr. Falchetti, and we felt because of that unique history with New York City and the skills that Mr. Falchetti has as an engineer designing and working with wastewater treatment plants involving New York City, that this was a good fit for this particular engineer. And the town has the ability to waive the procurement policy for RFPs, for requests for proposals. They have the ability to do that. They can waive their own policy if they feel that it's necessary and they feel that it's justified and warranted. In this particular case, I, as one board member, feel that it's absolutely justified and it's warranted in this particular case that we waive our procurement policy and agree to the contract with Mr. Fulchetti. So there's your answer.
Understood.
All right? Okay. Thank you, James. Anyone else want to speak on that? Susie or Frank?
No, I think you said it.
I mean, there's
Yeah.
still contractual issues going on, so we really can't talk too much about it with regard to the negotiation with the city for the plant. So I'll leave it for another day to talk about it further when we can, Greg, because Greg kind of instructed us a little bit. But it is in the history of Putnam County, this has been done one time, where the City of New York, DEP, has given a plant and more to a municipality free and clear and say, here it is, and also pay for everything that goes along with it and into the future. So it's a very unique situation. It could only have been done by particular people who have been involved with it for years. And as time goes on, I'll give more explanation to why I voted yes, but it clearly needed to be done this particular way, and it's going to be a great benefit for the town of Carmel, no doubt, in my mind.
Okay. All right. All right. If there's no one else that would like to come up to discuss the agenda items, I'm going to open up the floor to open general public comment. This is the open forum portion of the meeting where you could come up and address the board on any town-related matters. You must be a resident, taxpayer, or business owner to comment during the open forum. Jim, how are
Before
you?
Jim gets up there, let me just, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, which you always interrupt me, but that's okay. A resident called me just last week and said, hey, why can't we get a Trader Joe's that's going into Yorktown? And he went in with a whole diatribe, why nothing happens here on Route 6. And I said, are you aware that we don't have water and sewer down Route 6? Oh, no, I didn't know that. Now you know why. Now you know why this is an important project. Sorry, Jim, I never mean to interrupt you ever.
Frank, you're the best. Thank you very much. Good evening, everybody. My name is Jim Rathman. I am a resident for 29 years, coming up on 30 in Mahopac. I was told when I first moved here that you had to be born and raised to call it Mahopac. But I respect you, Kenny, for saying Mahopac all the time. I know, Frank did one of these things. I'm here speaking for myself. However, because I'm on social media and I work with the community, I get a lot of people asking me, is this happening in your neighborhood? It's a garbage disposal problem that I'm seeing. You know, the new trucks that come by, the hook comes out, the garbage goes up, it turns upside down, and if it's windy, the garbage is all over the place. If it doesn't come out, he dumps it, it falls over, and garbage spills all over the place. I see it on my block. I have a woman that is homebound, so we put her garbage out. We have another friend across the street that he's out at 6:30 in the morning picking up his garbage. So, I know it's a one-man operation. I don't ever see him get out of the truck. I don't know if it's a union rule. I don't know what it is. But I don't think I'm speaking to, I don't think you're not aware of this. And I know on the phone, when I called the office, they said the garbage company is up for bid pretty soon. I'm just here to speak my piece about that. I think it's a problem. I also see the truck because it goes all the way up in the top. When they take off, there's garbage coming out. If I see it, then it's got to be happening all around our town. So thank you very much for letting me speak. Thank you very much for your service to our town. And I'd like to see if you have any comment or any feedback on what's been going on. I don't want an answer. I was just wondering if you had some other people mention it to you, or you've been talking about it, about the garbage company?
Jim,
Thank you very
I
much.
can give you an answer.
Thanks.
So the garbage contract bid is coming up up for bid again at the end of this year. And what we've done is, and I've said it at several meetings in the past, we've come up with a list, an itemized list of the majority of the complaints that residents have called into the engineering department, and we've kind of categorized them and to see how we can address them in a future contract, whether a contract goes to the same Carter or somebody else. But we want to build in more stuff as we learned, right, over the last few years, as we learned as more and more issues have come up, what can be corrected by the Carter, whoever that turns out to be, and how we can have more teeth from a town's perspective to the Carter when they're not performing up to the standards that we expect for our residents. So that's being worked on. That list has gone out from the engineering department to all of us, and we've been having various phone calls and conversations and meetings with those who are putting the bid specs together. So I know that happens. You know, it's awful to see a garbage truck, you know, just blowing garbage off the side of the road. It's terrible. It doesn't belong here in our town, and it needs to be corrected by the next Carter, whoever that turns out to be.
So the people that have been in contact with me, should I suggest that they call the engineering department?
I've said that.
Yes.
I've said it from the beginning of this year, I think, when people have called. Please call, and this way we can document the complaint, and it could be categorized, and it could be, we can say, here, there's 70, 80% of, you know, of calls this year were for X. And how do we address it? And we have to come up with a solution between the bid specs and all of us. We have to come up with a solution how to resolve some of those issues. But if we don't know what those complaints are, and again, the ones that you talked about, obviously we already know, but if there are other complaints that people have that maybe we don't know about, we need to know about them so we can address them going forward in another spec.
Okay. We all love living in this town, and I have a lot of social media friends. Do you recommend that I might put out a little tidbit of what we spoke about tonight, and if they have some,
Feel free.
to get in touch?
Yeah.
Okay.
They can call the engineering department with any complaints with regard
That's
to
great.
garbage pickup, 628-1500, X for the engineering department, and those will be categorized, because they've already been working on that for the past, I don't know, 8-9 months.
Super.
Getting those complaints down.
The last thing, Kenny Schmidt and Frank Lombardi, thank you for including me in those pickups on your own time, and I know you did dozens of more pickups. Those orange bags all over town were great. However, it was horrible that we had to go out there and see it. The little stretch that we did, thank you very much for including me in that. You really got the community going on that. You know, and we all know what Putnam County and Carmel, what community we have. It's incredible. I came from Yonkers, and I've never experienced a hometown like this. So thank you very much for having me.
Jim, thank you.
Jim.
Good night.
Thank you, Jimmy. We had over 300 bags, the orange contractors' bags, that have been picked up thus far
Yeah,
by the
there's
highway
still-
department.
there's still more out
And
there.
there's still more out there that haven't been collected yet. And I want to say that I have a group of kids from the Interact Club from the Mayapack High School are meeting me Saturday they want to clean up along the bike path. So we're meeting at the Mayapack Fire Department substation at Bucks Hollow Road and Union Valley Road. Even though the cleanup week has elapsed, this past weekend was the final week of it. But they want to continue to beautify the town and clean up the town. So they asked me what they could do. And I said, well, where would you like to clean up? And they said the bike path. So we're going to go from 6 and Bucks Hollow and Union Valley all the way up to as far as they want to go up the bike path. So, you know, so they're going to be out there this Saturday at 10 o'clock. So,
Good.
and they're going to be getting community service for that as well.
It's very nice.
So, which is very nice of them. All right, does anybody else have anything for open forum, new business portion of the meeting?
For the record, I'm John Butler from the Hamlet of Carmel. So, more water talk. So on Friday last week, I literally pulled up in my driveway, and I saw this yellow piece of paper blowing through the backyard. I was like, well, what is this? I went in the backyard and picked up the yellow piece of paper announcing that on or about May 3rd, 48 hours later, Michael's or Michelle's Pipe Services will, in effect, I won't read the whole thing, start the water line renovation, remediation, whatever project. And I was like, that's great. You know, it's 2 years in coming. This is like a dream come true. Then I was like looking at the paper and like, how's this going to work? It says, so the how it's going to work summary, and this is, during this period, your house will be served by a temporary water supply. We would appreciate your cooperation for the inconvenience during this period. I'm like, okay. And I can tell you, it's not just me. There are dozens of people in the neighborhood walking around, the lines are coming. How is this going to be attached to my house? How's this water getting into my house? So I actually went back to the bid specs, and I don't even know what I'm talking about, just to try to figure this out. And apparently, the temporary water supply is going to be hooked up to the house through what's called a silcock, otherwise known as the garden hose faucet in front of the house. And I'm like, that's fascinating. I wonder how that works. Here's the theme of my little rant here today. The theme is, I don't know. We don't know. We don't know nothing about this process. Questions like, does a contractor person going to come into my house and do some plumbing work in order to get the faucet where the water goes out to be the faucet where the water comes in? How does that work? We don't know. What happens if there's a problem? Who do we call? We don't know. How long is this project going to last? How long are the temporary lines going to be there? We don't know. What if there is a problem with the project, as I think there was before, where the process isn't working and we're going to have to put in new lines? What happens then? I don't know. We just don't know anything. So I think it's, to be honest with you, so incredibly unprofessional that you would start a project like this that has direct impact, literally in just my neighborhood, to 150 households. And people are walking around going, what? I don't know. I don't know anything. What's going on? Why, oh why, didn't someone spend an hour putting together a 10-point bullet point notification to the residents? Hey, it's coming. Here's exactly what's going to happen. Here's how you're affected. Here's what you need to expect. Here's what's going to go on in your house. Here's how long it's going to take. Here's who you call if there's any problems or questions whatsoever. Okay? An hour. An hour. Put it in a little envelope. Mail it to 150 houses in the town of Carmel. None of this was done, and there were literally people walking around looking at the hose. What is this anyway? What's going on? What don't I know? So we have as the movie said, in this town with this and a whole bunch of other stuff, a failure to communicate. We communicate nothing. Someone throws something on the website that no one ever looks at, said, oh, it's on the website. How am I supposed to know it's on the website? How is my neighbor supposed to know on the website who's never gone on the website? It takes the tiniest bit of effort in this case, to be quite frankly, to show the respect to the residents. It's all a matter of respect. And this is nothing more than laziness and unprofessional behavior. Oh, and P.S., just so to remind everyone, we're paying for it. You know, we're the peasants in the field, shucking the hay. We're paying for it, and we don't even get the common courtesy to be informed as to what's going to be impacting our house for God knows how long. So I think it's disgraceful. I really, really think it's disgraceful. Thank you.
I'm the engineer in charge of the project. My name's John Falchetti. I apologize to you for lack of whatever communication it is you think that you should have gotten. I sat with the contractor last week at the kickoff meeting to ensure that that document and one other document were circulated to the residents, the second document being the one that would explain the process. We will ensure that this doesn't happen again, and we will ensure that it goes door to door. And if, I don't know how to answer you if you're not home. Okay, when a contractor's there during the workday, I don't know whether you were or were not. Okay, but all I'm saying is I will send a contractor door to door in every residence and in every business as we go through the phases of this job. Okay?
All right.
So
Thank you.
John, there was another piece of paper with, there should have been another piece of paper with the,
Yes, there was a second one that explained the schedule, that explained the process. How does this work? We're going to knock on your door. We're going to come see you. We need to make an appointment with you in order to make the connection. We need to notify you that we're going to switch it over. All of that was on a second piece of paper that you should have received.
Right.
The hour was spent. I can guarantee you that that was done. Yeah.
Was that the piece of paper that was the second document on the website, scope of work?
I haven't looked at the website. I don't set the website up. Okay, there's at least 3 documents on the website. There's a description of the process and how the sequence will go. There's a schedule, okay, that shows when we're going to be in which phase of the job, et cetera.
So where is this piece of paper available? How does one get that?
What was on the web, it should have been distributed to every dwelling in your neighborhood.
This part, it said flying across the
Yep,
back.
I understand. I understand that the other,
After people on Kelly Ridge Road never got this.
it was supposed to be distributed, and it was, I got that, John. I'm not here to have an argument with you. I'm here to try to solve your problem.
John,
Okay.
John, so if you want to come up and speak again, you can. The people at home can't hear you over there. All right,
Here's the
so,
thing. It won't happen again. There will be more information distributed to assist the residents in understanding what the process is, what the schedule looks like, and how this is going to go, and when it'll be over
all
with.
right, John, please make sure it's a comprehensive explanation of what's going on. So the service line from the temporary main is going to be on it's a temporary service line as well, right? That'll be on the surface.
Yep.
So, John, you had mentioned earlier about a service line. It's a temporary, it comes off the, well, no, that was your question.
The point is the communication. I understand the point, okay? And it didn't.
Oh, you did mention the service line, though, didn't you?
Can I just come back?
Sure, I said you could.
Could I just add one thing to this? We have our message boards. Why aren't the message boards put up in the neighborhood where we're doing this kind of work? This way they would have an idea that something's going on and
All right,
it would rouse their
I know there's people
suspicions.
watching the stream for this because, so it really comes down to this. I mean, as we sit here today, it's sort of like, I still don't know. So there's some document, I think literally and figuratively, perhaps floating around, I'll run into the woods and see if it's there. So right now, very easy, totally respect you. I simply want to know how each and every one of the 150 or the Kelly Ridge people are informed tomorrow morning as to exactly the procedure that's going to occur. That's all. That's it. How we do that.
Yeah, I don't, guys, I really don't want to continue the back and forth.
We're not, okay?
All right, go ahead.
We're not going to have an argument. As I just got done saying, I will ensure, okay, I'm not going to ensure you that tomorrow morning everybody's going to know, okay? But it will be implemented tomorrow, and by the end of the week, we'll have knocked on every single door and attempted to hand a piece of paper, okay, that explains it, that explains the process, okay, about how you're going to get connected, where you're going to get connected, how long the process is going to last, what the phases of the job will be. Okay?
Thank you.
thanks.
I guess you're dead out of luck if you're not home. I mean, that's what it sounds like. So as a suggestion, perhaps we could take this document or piece of paper, bring it here to the clerk, whoever, stick it in an envelope, and mail it to the residents. That's it. I'll pay for the postage myself. I'll pay for it out of my pocket. That's it. I mean, that's all there is to it. Simple as that.
Thanks, John.
Thank you.
Right. Okay, is there anyone else here for open forum, new business portion of the meeting? Come on up at this time if there are. Okay, there being none, does board members have any announcements? Bob?
Yeah, I have.
Bob? All right.
I have one. About 20 years ago, maybe even longer. Well, this is coming off of what Frank brought up 2 weeks ago, which I think every official who's running for election this year should answer before the election, because it has to be voted on this year. 20-some odd years ago, an OTB parlor opened up in downtown Mayapack, and this board went crazy. There was marches, there were protesters, there were signs, there were little kids saying, that's it, the world's coming to an end, OTB is coming in. Well, OTB is gone. You had smoke, vapor shops opening left and right. It was the trendy thing at the time. As a businessman, I knew they were going to fall one by one, and sooner or later the government had them basically all shut down. We had a store open in Carmel that was the end of the world. It's still there, so somebody locally is purchasing in there. We approved a distillery for tourists and for tax dollars in the hamlet of Carmel. A distillery. Today is Cinco de Mayo. Driving here, I'm glad I'm going straight home, because there's going to be more danger on the road tonight, with people drinking. Which gets me to the point of, are we going to allow a cannabis store or medical marijuana store in Putnam? Well, they're going to allow them in Westchester County. And Westchester County is about 2 miles that way. And the bottom line is, if it's here, the 3% stays here and not 2 miles down the block. I've seen it firsthand, how the medical end of it works. I've seen it with one of my daughters. I've seen it with my 88-year-old mother. And it works, whether you like to hear it or not. So I, for one, when the vote comes down, I'm going to vote yes for it. And anybody running for public office that has to vote this year should state their position before the election. That's all I have to say.
Okay, thanks, Mike. Bob, you had something?
No, I'm good.
Susie?
I just wanted to remind everyone that the farmers market is going to be again this Sunday from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. It was a huge success from what I hear. I got there at 3, so I didn't get to really see it too much. But it's going to be every Sunday from 9 to 1. It's going to be down at the Swan Cove area. And, a lot of vendors, which was nice. And
Yeah.
that's it.
Yeah. The only thing that we're, this weekend, Sue, this Sunday, if we can have Parks and Rec, who were there this past Sunday, could you have somebody, or I could even ask Jimmy, we're going to need people to help coordinate the parking down there. I guess there was an issue with how people were parking. So I think if they coordinated it a little bit better as far as where the cars could park, you probably could have fit more cars in there as opposed to the way it was. So I think.
Because there's no lines, it's just like a lot. There's a few
Yeah.
lines in the front, but that's a great idea.
Yeah, I think if we had 1 or 2 highway recreation workers that are there,
Recreation.
put vests on.
Yep.
Highway vests, and assist people, show them where they could park.
Sure.
I think that would be very helpful.
Good.
Because there were cars, because there's no lines, there were
Yeah,
cars
there's
all
no
over.
lines. Yep.
Yeah, that's one request that I have.
I left out one very important thing. As long as we can control the location. Very important.
The location of the dispensary.
Right.
Okay, got it. All right.
I think the problems that it's going to associate to is going to be a bigger problem than worth the money, the 3%. I think it's going to cause a lot of other problems with the dispensaries. I can't see it just being open for medical use. It's going to be also recreation use. And there's a lot of stuff that comes with it. I watched the video that the chief sent us about the candy, and it's all perpetrated towards children, gummy bears, and all the stuff the kids like to have. And that's what it's going to turn into. I don't know how you're going to regulate just having medical marijuana as opposed to gummy bears and candies and little dots and stuff that you can eat that kids are just familiar with. It's just mind-boggling to me how they've taken cigarettes out of everywhere, but they're going to promote marijuana. To me, it makes no logical reason other than for medical purposes. And they should be specific medical dispensaries, not a head shop that you go into and you can pick out some cannabis and go home and do what you want to do with it. That's
A lot of
my-
details.
A lot of details. And one other thing, I don't know if you heard what I said. We had the message board. I don't know if it's still up on 6 and 52.
It is.
That would have solved all the problems on Kelly Ridge Road if we would have put the message board out there, just letting the people know that the water is going to take place, that we're going to start updating the homes. There'll be, small hoses or whatever attached to the houses that you can go to the website and it will show you in detail what day, what block of homes will be, affected by it and how long it was going to take to resolve it. So I think that's a very simple solution to solve that problem, because coming home and not knowing, what's going on at your house, that there's hoses hooked up to your house, or you come home and, like me, not knowing that the hydrants are flushed and the toilet's brown and the refrigerator filter's all clogged up and we have no notification. It's just there. So, we really have to communicate a lot better.
Yeah. The message boards are a good idea, Bob, but you're very limited to the amount of words that you could put on each board. The amount of words, letters, and numbers, very short. There's only 3 boards. So the message, we could put a message on there, but it's not going to be very...
Water affecting Kelly Ridge homes 1 through 50 will be affected on this date. See website.
Right, when they actually start the
Right.
work, I agree with
Just
you.
so they know.
Yeah, but I think beforehand, the notice, and John's chuckling over there, but... What's that?
The work has started.
Yeah, I know that, John, I know. But
If there was something on the website that gave all the details and so on and so forth, it's beautiful. Just like I said, just go to carmel.org, go on the website, and if all that stuff that I was talking about is just listed there, I'm not even here. I don't even want to be here, believe me.
John,
who are you kidding, John? Come on.
John, you enjoy coming here, I know that. All right, but your point is well taken, John, and I'm going to make sure that's on the website.
John, I would hope there's 100 more people like you out there that would come here and speak like that, okay?
Everyone's wandering around the neighborhood. Everyone's walking their dog and look.
All right? For all the years I've been here and on that side, I wish there was 100 more people like you around town that came here.
I really disagree.
No, I don't want 99 more of you.
No, I agree.
But I
And your
do,
wife is shaking her head yes.
I do appreciate when you come here, though, John, I do. And that's what
Wait,
sincerity.
are we done, or
We're-
am I allowed to talk?
We're done.
or
I
not?
just want to wish all the
Whoa,
mothers.
whoa, whoa, I'm not done.
I
When's-
asked if
when's my-
anybody else had anything.
Sure, and then you went that way, and maybe you didn't see me. I don't know. Maybe I need to be sitting somewhere else. I have
Councilman
things to
Lombardi,
say.
you have the
Well,
floor.
I don't need a specific invitation, but I'll take it.
But Frank, go, speak. I'm not inviting you, just talk. Oh,
I
my
don't need an
God.
invitation. My vote counts just like everybody else.
I'm
First
not,
of all-
I'm
no,
not giving you,
jo-
I'm
Kenny,
not,
Kenny,
Frank.
Kenny.
I'm really not. You brought it up. Go ahead. What do you have to say?
I received a notice that May 16th from 12 to 3, Mario DiNardo and Marianne Chaluzian are hosting a police officer free pizza for their families on 222 Route 6, Mahopac, New York, May 16th from 12 to 3 p.m. So we'll make that announcement again next week. Any police officers, notify Marianne or Mario that you're going to be coming. I'll be more than happy to have you there. And with regard to the issue of the marijuana, I gave you my personal opinion, and that's fine. And everybody can have their own opinions too. That's fine too. The discussion needs to be had, and I got a lot of people who responded to what I said in a positive manner, agreed with me. Some disagreed, and I totally understand. And I don't think anybody was taking away medical marijuana from those who really need it. I don't think that's the purpose of these shops, to be in these towns. And believe me, the 3%, we're not going to see any of that money. So, and if you're agreeing with the position just for financial purposes, and I'm not saying that you are, I'm not saying that you are, but if that's, that's the reason why the state did what they did.
Right.
They see it as a cash cow to fill their budget shortfall, Mike, and you know that just as well as I do. But for us in the town of Carmel, again, everybody knows my position, and that's fine. That's why everybody has their own vote. So I'm sure we'll have discussions on it going forward. And of course, I was going to join Kenny. Go ahead, say what you were going to say, and then I was going to
No, go
join.
ahead.
Okay, well, on behalf of the town board, we want to wish everyone, all the moms out there, a very, very happy Mother's Day, especially to my mom, we've had a rough year this year with a lot of different things, but she's been the rock for our family and everybody else's family. We wish everyone a very, very happy Mother's Day, and spend some time with your mom this year that maybe you couldn't last year.
Okay.
Also, I'd like to make one more announcement. I would like to thank all of our active and retired police officers, being at this beginning of Police Week. So we recognize them for all their hard work, all their hard service, and the service to our community. Thank you.
You being one of them,
Me being one of them.
and myself.
And yourself, Joe.
And myself. I want to thank everyone who contributed in any way they may have for the townwide cleanup weeks that started 2 weeks ago. We had a tremendous turnout. There's a lot of litter and debris that was cleaned up off the shoulders of the roadways. It's sad that this is happening, that people are not disposing of their trash in the proper manner. And I'm just going to say it again. Please, folks, refrain from throwing any garbage out of your vehicles, windows, or anywhere else for that matter in the town of Carmel, because you're just contributing to the problem. And we just assume not have to do these cleanup weeks, but unfortunately we do have to continue to do them. So I just wanted to express my thanks and gratitude to all who participated this year. There's way too many people to mention. I know that we handed out over 300 bags, and there's still other bags that are still out there that need to be picked up. So my thanks and gratitude to everybody that that participated and helped clean up your community. It's very much noticed, and I appreciate your efforts. Thanks so much. And happy Mother's Day to all you mothers out there.
Happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day. I need a motion to
Second, third.
motion to adjourn by Council Lombardi, seconded by Councilman Borelli. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Have a good night, everyone.
Be well. We'll see you next week for a town board work session. That's on Wednesday.